40 miles off Miami. A freak squall line slammed together into a 50-knot monster. No forecast, no warning. The $90 million super yacht Atalanta plunged into a 30-foot trough, green water smashing over her foredeck like a freight train.
Port engine cavitating. We're losing all thrust.
All vessels. All vessels. This is Sector Miami. Immediate return through government cut. No offshore options. Over.
Atalanta. Tug, Captain Bishop. I am 2 miles south. I can board a pilot and run the cut. Do you copy?
Her? The black woman I made a joke about this morning, and now she's the only one who can get us through.
Captain Caldwell, your window is closing. I need a decision in 90 seconds.
I can't say her name. Not after what I said, not after I called her a...
Come on, Caldwell. Swallow that pride or drown.
To understand the hatred behind that hesitation, you have to go back 24 hours. The morning of the party, the Atalanta gleamed at her slip while Stephen Caldwell threw a pre-cruise champagne gathering on deck. A tall, black woman in a Navy harbor pilot's cap walked down the dock, duffel slung over a salt-stained Carhartt. Affirmative action piloting is a thing now. I booked a tug escort, not a diversity seminar. She didn't slow. The joke landed among the champagne glasses, but Linda Bishop's face didn't change. Miguel, there's been a mix-up. I need a real captain. Not, I am sure she's lovely, but my guests expect a professional.
Caldwell, Linda Bishop is the best pilot in this marina. She stays or you find another slip.
Linda stood on the dock, looking up at the mega yacht, jaw set, then turned toward her tug without a word. Captain Caras ignored her that tug's radio chatter. Proceed due east. Aboard the tug, Linda watched the massive white hull slide past. Her brother Marcus handed her a coffee.
He's going to learn the hard way? Pressure's dropping already.
An hour offshore, Linda tapped the barometer glass. The needle was falling faster than she'd seen in 10 years.
Atalanta, Tug Bishop. Pressure dropping fast. I recommend you return to harbor immediately.
On the Atalanta's bridge, Dmitri reached for the radio. Stephen's hand blocked it. Ignore it. We're on a schedule. Proceed east.
We turning back. L.
We turn back. I won't risk my crew for his pride.
Her eyes drifted to the photograph taped beside the compass. William Bishop, harbor pilot, 1972.
He used to say a falling barometer is the ocean's warning. This one's screaming.
A low rumble of thunder rolled across the sea, and the first hard strap of rain hit the glass. But on the Atalanta's radar, the edge of a monster cell was already turning from yellow to red. Without warning, the squall swallowed the Atalanta whole. Visibility dropped to 0, and the sea turned black.
We lost the port engine. She's cavitating. I can't hold her steady anymore.
All vessels. All vessels. This is Sector Miami. Immediate return through government cut. No offshore options. Over.
We can't go through that cut. The shoals will tear us apart in this swell.
Who can get us through? That tug captain you ignored. She offered help, didn't she?
The tug captain, the one I called a diversity hire, she's the only chance. One engine dead. The Coast Guard ordering them into the cut, and the only pilot who could bring them through was the woman he had mocked that morning, on the bridge. Stephen stared at the radio, her voice still ringing in his head. The yacht listed hard to starboard, water sloshing over the deck. Dmitri fought the wheel, but the Atalanta was no longer answering.
Atalanta, Tug Captain Bishop. I am 2 miles south. I can board a pilot. Do you copy?
The VHF crackled with her voice again, but Stephen didn't move. Catherine stepped onto the bridge, her expression unreadable.
Stephen, answer her. She's the only one who can navigate the cut, and you know it.
I will not beg help from that woman. We'll take our chances with the channel.
He still won't answer. He's going to try the cut himself. In this sea, that's suicide.
Captain Caras, I want us through that channel. Take the helm and do it.
Mr. Caldwell, this is madness. I don't know these shoals. We will run aground.
I said do it, Captain. I didn't ask for your opinion. The Atalanta turned towards the dark mouth of Government Cut, the rock walls already closing in as rain hammered the glass. A brutal jolt shook the bridge as the keels scraped rock. Dmitri spun the wheel and aborted the run.
Now there's no choice. She's the only pilot who can bring us through.
This time, her voice was stripped of any attempt at politeness. She needed an answer, fast.
Captain Caldwell, decide. I have a 2-minute window before I miss the cut myself.
On the bridge, Stephen stared at the dark channel, then met his wife's steady, unblinking gaze.
You made a joke this morning. Now she's your only way out. Say yes.
Every word she says is a nail in my pride, but I am out of time.
Dimitri's hand hovered over the radio, waiting for an order that would never come.
Captain Bishop, come aboard. You have the con.
On the tug, Linda nodded once, then switched channels to her crew, voice like iron.
Marcus, bring us alongside. I'm going over. Get the harness ready and clear the deck.
The tug charged forward into the darkness, spray hammering its bow, closing on the dying super yacht. Linda clipped her harness and stepped to the edge of the tug's deck. The gap between the two vessels opened and closed like a steel jaw. In 35-knot wind, she jumped. For one frozen second, she was airborne over black water, then hit the Atalanta's heaving side deck hard. She didn't stop. Soaked and bleeding from a scraped palm, she strode past stunned crew to the wheelhouse.
How can you possibly know this channel? The charts are useless in this weather.
License HC 47A. My father, William Bishop, certified 1972. He hand-drew every shoal. I've been running this cut since I was a girl. Everyone brace. The cut doesn't give second chances.
Through the rain, the dark mouth of Government Cut opened before them, rock walls a ship's width apart, white water boiling at their base.
Stay with me, Daddy. Let me feel the rocks the way you did. Dimitri, starboard engine only. Hold this heading exactly. Don't think, just do.
11 feet of clearance on each side. The rocks were already reaching for them. Linda never glanced at the depth sounder or the radar. Her eyes stayed locked on the rock walls, feeling the water's pressure through the hull.
Hold bearing 047. Keep her steady.
Rock walls rushed past so close, a man could reach out and touch them, spray blinding the glass as the yacht heeled violently in a 12-foot breaking wave.
11 feet under the keel. 10 feet. We're losing bottom.
A dark shape rose in the foam ahead. Without looking at the instruments, Linda spun the wheel hard to starboard.
Starboard rock. Clear.
The hull shuddered, a terrible grinding sound echoing through the bridge, but the Atalanta held its line.
The old man taught me well.
Then she exhaled, a single slow breath. On the bridge, no one spoke. The storm still howled outside, but inside that wheelhouse, all they could hear was their own ragged breathing. The marina basin was a chaos of whitecaps and wind shear. Linda lined up the approach with inches to spare, never flinching.
Don't tell me how to dock my own boat.
The stern thruster screamed as she walked the massive hull into a slip meant for a yacht half its size.
Kill the engines.
The Atalanta settled against the fenders with a deep shudder. For the first time in hours, the bridge fell silent.
We're tied up.
She pulled off her soaked cap, grabbed her duffel, and left the bridge without a word. On the dock, crewmen stepped aside. Her boots were heavy on the wet wood, but her stride never broke. The storm wind still snatched at her jacket, but she never looked back. Behind her, the Atalanta rode safely at the slip, its owner watching her disappear into the gloom. Before she reached the gate, a voice stopped her. Catherine Caldwell, her hair wild from the storm, was walking towards her.
Captain Bishop, what that man said to you this morning was beneath contempt. I heard it all. Every broadcast.
Behind her, Stephen came out of the shadows, his white linen ruined, his face unreadable.
You are going to fix this. Right now. No lawyers, no cutouts. You. Him.
I misjudged you. I apologize. Name your price.
I am not a commodity, Mr. Caldwell. I don't have a price, but your wife asks straight. I'll pilot for her.
Done. Permanent retainer. Every vessel he owns.
Linda didn't smile. She just nodded once, short and sharp, then turned and walked towards the gate. The rain had stopped. The marina lights blinked on across the basin, and a low, long horn sounded somewhere in the quiet. The marina office had the same clutter it always did. But tonight the air was heavy with something unspoken.
Checks already cut. 250,000, retainer for the year.
Linda didn't reach for it. Her eyes had caught something on the wall behind Miguel's shoulder, a faded framed license, dated 1972. The name under the glass was still legible, William Bishop.
That's my father. He was refused service at this slip his first year. The marina owner called him a deckhand.
This marina, my father bought it in 1978. I didn't know.
Never occurred to you, did it, that the man you mocked this morning had already been turned away from your dock 50 years ago?
She pulled a small photograph from her jacket. Her father in his harbor pilot cap, same age she was now, and set it on the desk.
Learn his name.
She walked out without the check, leaving the two Caldwells standing in the silent office, a ghost of 1972 hanging between them. A week later, in the still of a Sunday dawn, the marina lay quiet and glassy. The name on the bow had been covered for days. Now the tarp fell away, and fresh white letters read, William Bishop. Marcus coiled the last line and looked up at his sister in the wheelhouse. No words were needed. At the Atalanta's slip, Stephen Caldwell stood alone on deck, coffee growing cold in his hand. He saw the tug coming, riding low and steady, the sunrise catching the new yellow lettering. His hand moved slowly to his head. He removed his hat and held it over his heart. Linda Bishop stood at the helm, her father's photograph tucked beside the compass, as always.
Morning, Daddy.
She passed the Atalanta without slowing, without a glance, but her hand touched the photograph once. Stephen stood motionless, hat in hand, until the tug rounded the bend and vanished into the golden water. But the story didn't end with that quiet Sunday morning. What Stephen Caldwell never said aloud was that the name William Bishop had been in his family's marina files since before he was born. Buried in a dusty ledger was a note from 1972. Certified pilot refused slip access. Harbor Board overrule requested. Signed by Harold Caldwell, Stephen's father. The same Harold Caldwell who expanded the marina, who through the grand opening parties had signed the order that kept a black pilot from his own dock. Stephen had found the note 3 days after the storm, going through old files looking for insurance papers. He hadn't told Catherine. He hadn't told anyone.
My father didn't build this marina. He stole it from men like him.
He thought about the way Linda had looked at that photograph on the wall, the way she didn't take the check, the way her hand touched her father's photo as she passed. So Stephen did something no Caldwell had ever done. He drove to the municipal archives and filed a formal correction to the marina's historical record. He had the 1972 harbor pilot license reframed with a brass plaque. Not an exhibit, a record of error corrected. He never told Linda, but the following month, when her tug motored past with the name William Bishop on the bow, the new plaque caught the morning light. She didn't see it, but Stephen knew it was there, and that was enough. 3 weeks after the plaque went up, Linda found a plain envelope tucked under her windshield wiper at dawn. Inside, a photocopy of a 1972 marina logbook entry. The words were in her father's file: certified pilot refused slip access, requested by H. Caldwell, scrawled in the margin, deny, no colored pilots.
Someone wants me to know who really signed that order, and they want me to use it.
She called Miguel from the wheelhouse. He picked up on the first ring, his voice uneasy.
Miguel, why now? Why is someone slipping me this? Who else knows?
Nobody here sent it, I swear. But Linda, if that gets out, the marina's rep is gone. The Caldwells could lose everything.
That's exactly why they're afraid, and exactly why someone wants me to talk.
She held the photocopy, feeling the weight of 50 years of silence and one man's late confession.
I could bury it, or I could make the marina own this publicly. One costs me the retainer, the other costs my father his name.
The choice wasn't hers alone. It belonged to the man in the photograph, too. She set the paper down, uncrumpled, and turned toward the bay. The next morning, Linda walked into the marina office without knocking. Stephen was at the desk and she dropped the photocopy in front of him.
This was slipped under my windshield this morning. Your father's handwriting. Your father's order.
I didn't send it. I swear, I've been trying to make amends, not throw fuel on the fire.
Someone in your marina wants me to bury you with this. And I've got a choice. Bury it or make you own it.
Own it, Linda. If this gets out, the marina's reputation, my father's name, it'll destroy everything.
Your father's name has been destroying my family for 50 years. It's time the other shoe dropped.
What do you want? I'll do anything. The retainer, a public statement, anything.
Full-page ad in the Herald. Your father's signature, printed. And a scholarship fund named after William Bishop. Or I walk.
She's giving me a way out that costs everything I inherited. It's the only way she'll stay.
He nodded once. She turned for the door, but Stephen's voice stopped her. The retainer stands. I'll have the ad drafted by noon. She walked out of the office with the photocopy still in her fist, the morning sun already high over the basin. Marcus was waiting by the tug, a thermos of coffee in each hand. His face said he already knew.
Lel, you really gonna make him print his daddy's sin in the Herald?
He signed it 49 years ago. It's time everybody knew.
And what happens to us? This marina is half our business. The Caldwells pull the retainer. We lose the fleet.
Dad lost his name. You want me to trade his memory for a contract?
Number. I want you to think about our kids, about the crew. That retainer pays for their schools.
He's right. This could break us. But if I don't do it, Daddy's whole struggle was for nothing. Then I'll make sure the scholarship fund is bigger than any retainer. I'll find another way, but the ad runs.
Marcus didn't answer. He just set down the coffee and walked out onto the deck. The weight of their father's ghost between them. 3 days later, the Miami Herald ran a full-page notice. The headline read, "A record of error corrected." Beneath it, a photocopy of the 1972 logbook entry and Harold Caldwell's signature. The phones at the marina started ringing before sunrise. Half the calls were threats.
I just destroyed my father's name with my own hands. This is what she wanted.
By noon, 2 corporate accounts canceled their slips. The marina was bleeding money.
We lost the Olin contract this morning. They said they won't be associated with race politics.
Then they were never worth keeping. The ad stays.
But that same afternoon, Catherine Caldwell gave a short statement to the press, standing alone on the dock.
My husband's father was wrong. This marina will no longer hide from its history. The William Bishop Scholarship Fund will be fully endowed.
By evening, Linda found a new envelope on her tug. This one thick with small donations from crewmen, retired pilots, and a note from Miguel.
Maybe the tide is turning, but I still don't know who sent me the first photocopy.
That evening, a small card was slipped under the tug's wheelhouse door. 2 words, Atalanta Salon, sunset. Linda crossed the dock to the superyacht, the same boat she'd saved. Catherine Caldwell was waiting inside, a pot of tea on the table.
I left you the first envelope, Captain. The photocopy of Harold's order.
You? Why would you risk everything? Your marriage, this marina?
Because my husband would never have printed those words himself, and I knew you were the only one who would make him.
You let me believe someone was trying to destroy you. You sat across from me in that office and said nothing.
It wasn't about him anymore. It was about your father's legacy, and I knew you would see it through.
The door behind them opened. Stephen Caldwell stepped in, his face older, his eyes clear. He stood beside his wife.
Catherine told me this morning. The scholarship fund is fully endowed. My father's name is off the welcome sign.
Linda looked from wife to husband, then picked up her cap. She didn't smile, but she nodded once, and that was enough. And that was enough. Linda stepped off the Atalanta into the cooling evening. The dock was quiet, the water lapping gently against the hull. Marcus was leaning against the tug's rail, a fresh thermos in hand. He didn't ask. He just waited.
It's done. Catherine sent the photocopy. Stephen's taking his father's name off the sign.
And what about us? We still got the contracts?
We'll be fine. More than fine. The scholarship fund is already drawing new clients. People want to do business with the marina now.
They stood in the dusk without words, the weight of 50 years slowly lifting.
I am going to check on the engines. We've got a tow at dawn.
Inside the wheelhouse, the photograph of William Bishop caught the last light of the day. Linda touched the frame once, then pulled on her work gloves.
We did it, Daddy. They know your name now.
Outside, the marina lights flickered on across the basin, a quiet rhythm settling over the water. The following morning, a plain envelope sat on the tug's console. Inside, a check signed by Catherine Caldwell and a single handwritten note for William, C.C.
The first honest contract my father ever had with this marina.
By midday, a new sign hung at the marina gate: Caldwell Marine and Bishop Pilotage Services. The old name was gone. Stephen stood alone at the empty slip, reading the letters his father would have hated, and for the first time he felt clean.
It was never my name I wanted to keep.
That Thursday, in that same marina office, the first William Bishop Scholarship was awarded to a 20-year-old from Liberty City who passed her pilot exam the week before. Danielle Haynes gripped the framed certificate and whispered, "My grandfather was a dock worker here in the 70s. He couldn't get a pilot license. Today's for him." Linda didn't cry, but when the girl asked to see the photograph of William Bishop, Linda's hand trembled as she handed it over. Later, alone in the wheelhouse, she sat with her father's photo as the sun came up over the basin, the sound of a single tug horn rolling across the water. The tug's engine rumbled to life, mist rising off the black water. The name William Bishop caught the first true light of morning.
Every tow we run from now on carries your name, Daddy.
She eased the tug into the channel, the marina slipping behind in the glass of the wheelhouse window. Stephen Caldwell stood on his empty deck, coffee in hand, but he didn't raise his hat this time. He simply watched. Catherine stepped out and rested a hand on his arm. Neither spoke. They watched the tug until it was a speck on the flat water. Aboard the tug, Linda opened the throttle. The hum of the engines was steady, a rhythm she'd known since she was a girl.
The water always remembers who came before.
50 years after William Bishop was refused this channel, his name cut the waves each morning, printed in fresh white letters on the bow of every tug his daughter ran. And every time she passed the Atalanta, the man who had once laughed now stood still, no longer needing to prove anything. The horn sounded once, long and low, rolling across the basin, and the harbor finally was quiet. In the marina office, beneath the corrected 1972 license, a new bronze plate read, "William Bishop Harbor Pilot Scholarship, because the water remembers." A young man in a neat navy blazer stood before it, running his finger over the name. He didn't know the Bishop family, but he would.
Every tide that comes through this cut now carries you, Daddy.
She never spoke about the storm again, but her hands still moved on the helm the way his had, and that was language enough. Stephen Caldwell never asked for forgiveness. He just made sure the check cleared each year without comment, and every spring the harbor board posted a new name. The old sign was sanded and repainted. The new name stayed, and the southernmost slip, the one that had once turned a black pilot away, now bore a brass star on the piling.
We're still here, Daddy.
And the water, as it always does, carried the name out to sea. The harbor was quiet now, and it would stay that way, because some names are louder than a horn,